Hi, welcome. I get a lot of questions on pivots and do they work on other asset classes, in particularly on the crypto market. So here we go. I'm looking at the crypto market because that's the one I get asked about probably as much as anything else. The answer is yes, they do work, but what I suggest you do is test them because it depends on what you're trading. Bitcoin has a lot of liquidity and some reasonable volatility, as do a number of other coins, but you just got to check for yourself in terms of how well they've worked in the past. If you're not familiar with pivots, I do have other videos which I'll put a link to from this video so you can go and watch pivots and get a better idea what they're doing. But in general terms, the pivot point itself is a calculation of the high, low and close of the previous period, and from that, including that and the high, low and close numbers, we can work out a number of support and resistance levels ahead of trading. In other words, for a day on a daily pivot, we calculate that today's pivot at midnight effectively, or what it actually runs off 1 o'clock on a lot of these cryptos. So at 1 o'clock at night you'll see a new pivot appear, and that is the same set of pivots for the day. So it gives you a roadmap before you even start if you're day trading. If you're swing trading or position trading, well, it can still provide you with some guidance. I'm going to start off just clicking. This is a weekly chart, so I've really gone out onto these charts to do a little bit of a study and look at, well, do they work? Now, just to explain what the levels are, just very briefly if you're not familiar, but as I said, I'll show you another video. You've got the pivot point, which is on in white here, the pivot point itself, then you've got the R1, R2 and R3, so it's blue, red, red, and then you've got the support levels S1, S2 and somewhere below there S3. Now you can run up into R4s and down to S3s, and you can put those extra details on. There we go, they're actually in orange on here, so there's your S4, so you can put those on as well. Generally you'll find with a yearly pivot you're not really coming into that level unless you look many years back before when Bitcoin originally took off, and then you'll see much more movement. So do they work? What do we look for? We were looking predominantly initially we're looking at the pivot point itself, the level of the high, low and close divided by 3. We're looking at price reaction to that. Do they actually work? Well, you take a look for yourself. This is a yearly picture with a weekly chart. Key resistance back here in March 22. Support initially on the S1 there in May 22. It's back above its the yearly pivot at the moment. It's consolidating around those highs. Now we can come down to a lower time frame. There you go, and you'll see this is a daily chart now, same pivots, the annual pivots on there, and you find how that currently they're providing support, so price action is between two levels. Now I'm going to take those ones off. We'll pop in, actually let's leave that one on there. I'm going to just change the time frame to a quarterly because this is how I look at it in different bases. Now you wouldn't need all of the different levels on at any one go. You could actually put them on, but you'll have quite a messy chart. You can overlap them. I used to overlap a lot of pivots in the past, but generally you just get a bit confused. What you can do is, if you've got a key level like we saw up here a moment ago with the yearlies, where we can just put that, we can draw a line across there, label it yearly pivot, and just put the main levels in there, just use the same way as you could do with the quarterly that I'm looking at the moment. So rather than have the quarterlies on, or you can, if you're using TradingView, you can just switch them off and on quite easily just by hiding them or not. Quarterlies, do the quarterlies work? Well, this is Bitcoin. I would suggest yes. It's there's areas of resistance that we're finding, and these are the sort of points that you're looking at more so in terms of is price coming up and giving you an opportunity to sell off of, and can you trade off those levels. Now you could get an extra element of confluence by putting the monthly pivots on here as well. I'm going to take the quarterlies off for now, just look at the monthlies, and again just looking at how they're reacting to this. Is, as I say, a key area in terms of support, possibly a pivotal area in price action, which is got pretty close to in its upward trend. It looks like good for looking for signals at that stage for buying, and just as we're seeing underneath here, looking for signals for selling. Now this is a monthly pivot with a daily time frame or sitting on it, so but you can see that these are quite significant moves that we're seeing around from these levels, and so there's certainly opportunities from that perspective. Okay, now we're going to take the, well, we're going to just switch charts actually, and I'm going to just bring you into this is a 4-hour chart now. So if you're coming down the time frames and want to look at how things are going, well, you can see how far, I mean, the day hasn't finished yet. You can see the pivots are there for the day ahead of you. Are they providing support and resistance? Well, they're doing what they're supposed to do what they're saying on the can there. So it's support level 1, it's got down to dancing back around the pivot, and then R2, resistance level 2. So you can see just in here running into probability of an R3 being hit is quite low on any market. When they do get hit, they don't necessarily become a sell point, but they could be an exit point if you're already long. So maybe selling part of the position you're in, not necessarily all of it. It's up to you how you trade that, but you've got to realize that these pivots are only here for the week, and then they'll disappear. And whilst it's providing resistance, it did eventually see it. We did see price break through that level. It's just too strong. You can see here the sort of, I mean, as I say, these are pre-drawn on there. They stay the same for the whole period, the whole week in this case. If we then come down to the daily pivot, so you want to be trading on the shorter time frames, you can see within this the areas where, I mean, today's, this is here from the beginning at 1 o'clock in the morning right the way through. You'll see these pivots sitting here, and you'll see the support and resistance levels running through. So if depending on the time frame you're trading, depending on the pivots you're possibly using, but certainly if you're day trading, I'd look for the dailies upwards. I'd look at the dailies, the weeklies and the monthlies. That's how I day trade currencies, and I would recommend you look at those if you're day stroke swing trading the crypto markets. So I've looked at one market here. It's just click onto Ethereum. It's very widely used. You'll see sometimes actually, because the cryptos, I'll just go back, the patterns are quite similar in either of them, so there's the potential for them, of course, to find some resistance around the same sort of levels. But as you can see, this is an hourly chart with daily pivots on there. They're working pretty well. So there you go. Do they work? Yes. Can you use them? You need to go back and look at them. You can find another video of mine which gives you some more background into pivots themselves, not particularly focused on any asset class or cryptos, but it may help you fully understand their potential use and help you trading them. Hope you found this useful. If you do, please give me a thumbs up, like the video. If you want to learn more technical analysis which can be applied across many markets, you'll do so on my YouTube site. Bye for now.